So an affordable list of perfumes with a tea note in obviously is going to have to start with Elizabeth Arden green tea, because it is truly the OG of green tea perfumes, or tea perfumes in general. It's one of the best ever spa smells. It truly smells like a beautiful spa. It's fresh, it's clean, it's a bit zingy, it's such an excellent perfume. And 100ml will cost you about £10. Not the most attractive bottle, but I think these might be the first bottles that Elizabeth Arden did that were this particular shape. And you know, keep it simple. It suits this style of scent to have it in such a kind of plain and unassuming bottle. And I mean, it's fabulous. Lots of people say this doesn't last on their skin. For me, this lasts quite well, and it's actually quite strong. You can argue it's a skin scent because it smells so clean and so spa-like. You don't necessarily smell like you're wearing an intense perfume. But compared to the smell of your natural skin, this is pretty strong on me. But it's so cheap. If it doesn't last on you, you can just keep reapplying it. You know, and you can also get little ones of these, so you can take them in your bag, but these bottles are super easy to decant. Just take the little lid off, just have a quick sniff. Oh, it is just herbal, citrusy, fresh, aromatic heaven, and I think it's such a beautiful perfume. And people give it a bit of short shrift, and they shouldn't, because anyone smells nice in this. I think it's super unisex. There's nothing about it that's particularly masculine, but it's not so overly feminine because it is such a spa scent. It's just a lovely, clean, fresh, probably how you'd like your house to smell kind of, you know, scent. It's just beautiful. So the notes in this one, top notes: lemon, bergamot, mint, orange peel and rhubarb. Middle notes: jasmine, oak moss, fennel, musk, carnation and white amber. Base notes: green tea, jasmine, oak moss, musk, celery seeds, caraway, cloves and amber. So some of the notes are in middle and base, so it's not completely linear, but once it starts to dry down, it pretty much stays with that aromatic, herbally, lovely, beautiful tea. And you do retain a little bit of the citrus, but when you first spray it, that's when it's its most citrusy. That's when it's like, bam, there is orange peel. You can definitely smell that it's a bit pithy. There's a bitterness, but that does go away, and it just retains a very beautiful, slight kind of orange and lemony citrusiness. But it's just lovely, this one. It's one of my absolute all-time favourites. It's super reliable, it's herbally, it's fresh, it's just so fresh and clean and absolutely lovely. And I've smelt many of the flankers, but I only actually like one of the flankers, so that's what I'm going to talk about now. So this is green tea pomegranate. I find a lot of the flankers of green tea boring because they're just not as nice. They're just similar to green tea. None of them seem to be quite as nice. I find that the cherry blossom one's okay, but it's not as sweet as I'd like it to be. I don't like the peachy one. I don't, you know, what else have I had? The fig one just had a weird dirty smell to me. I just wasn't keen. I've had many of them. I've sold them all. I really don't like the summer one. The summer one nearly put me off green tea altogether. I don't know why. But green tea pomegranate is lush. It's very tart, sweet and fruity. It's really sherbety. And as the same with this, there is a real shampoo vibe about this. So it's soapy, not in a bar soap way, not in a detergent way. It's soapy, like a really nice quality shampoo. So the notes in this are pomegranate, passion fruit, tangelo and bergamot. Those are the top notes. Middle notes: Earl Grey tea, violet leaves, white magnolia and davana. Base notes: raspberry bloom, mate, musk and moss. So this one is super fruity. Oh, it's really tangy, this one. It's not zesty. It doesn't have that same bitterness. It's a very sweet fruit smell, this one. The passion fruit really comes through. I think in the dry down you get a bit more of the pomegranate, so you get a bit more of that. I mean, pomegranate has like a really specific taste and smell, so it's quite hard to describe, but if you know pomegranate juice, you know what I'm talking about. It does have a sweetness with a sort of odd kind of smell to it, but the passion fruit and the tangelo, I think, are the things that are really popping out when you first spray it, and they last for quite a long time. And you do get that nice aromatic kind of feel from the Earl Grey, and then the raspberry bloom, I think, which is a little bit similar to cherry blossom, I'd say. That one really comes through the longer you wear it, and probably that's where the kind of slight shampoo-y smell starts to come from. But I think this is the only flanker that I would recommend. Again, you can get it for about 10 quid for this whole big bottle, and it's very, very lovely. You will smell delicious, but it's very shampoo-y, even more so than the original, which is also quite shampoo-y. So that's those guys. I'll make sure you can see them. Now, let's go for, just because I think there's a similarity here, this is one of my absolute favourite perfumes. Unfortunately quite hard to come by now, but worth trying to find. This is Boum by Jeanne Arthes, and it's the green tea and cherry blossom flanker. So when I first smelt this, I thought it smelled quite a lot like this, but slightly less tangy. However, when I wear it, it kind of turns into something else. And the reason for that is that this has pear in it. Oh my goodness, it is a watery, juicy pear, and it's absolutely scrumptious. So I'll read you the notes for Boum green tea and cherry blossom. So the top notes of this one are tea, lemon and pear. Middle notes are cherry blossom, blackcurrant and rose. Base notes are peach and musk. Anyone watching my channel knows I'm very fussy about peach perfumes, and this one, I think, although the peach is in the base, so it does keep it super fruity, and this one lasts quite a while on me. But again, they're quite cheap for 100ml, so if you can actually find one that, you know, you spray it all day. I quite often reapply this at lunchtime and then before I leave work, but that's really just not necessarily because I need to, it's because I love this perfume and I just want to smell of it really strongly. You could, I think it's less shampoo-y than green tea pomegranate. I think this one's just a very crisp, fresh, fruity smell with that sort of cherry blossom undertone, and it is a beautiful blossomy undertone. It's really lovely. But I think the thing that's really singing in this perfume is the pear. The pear just, oh, I'm just gonna have I sprayed it on my hand before we started this. Oh, it's such a perfect perfume for summer, spring and summer. It is absolutely scrumptious. This one is a true love to the point where I have 3 backup bottles of this because I love this perfume. I'm probably going to be nice and sell one because I've got so many perfumes now, but I absolutely love it. It's one of my all-time favourites. I've actually got 2 bottles on the go. But yeah, so this you just take off and then you can spray it. But it's delicious. It doesn't come with a lid, it just comes like this, as all the Booms do. But absolutely one of my all-time favourite perfumes that has tea in it. And it does have a beautiful aromatic scent to it because of that tea. It just, the tea with the pear is a magnificent combination. Really, really beautiful. So now let's move on to something maybe a bit more unusual. This is popping up in so many of my videos, but I do absolutely love it, and I totally stand by stand by that decision. I just move this one over here. So Katy Perry's Indi. I think one of the things I love about this probably is the tea note, and it's probably why it sang to me immediately when I smelt it at first. So the notes in this one, the top notes are plum, white tea and bergamot. Middle notes, white cedar extract, lily of the valley and cyclamen. Base notes, musk, white musk, black musk, Egyptian musk, island musk, tonka bean and amber. So this is the one that on me smells like coconut. It just smells like delicious, slightly sweet coconut cream. But it does have like a sweet and aromatic, really soothing vibe. It's just, yeah, it's such a, this is one of those ones again. It's very, very cheap. totally worth buying. I think this 30ml bottle cost me £4. I got this one from Direct Cosmetics, which is where I get a lot of my perfumes for. Absolutely worth looking for pretty much anything on Direct Cosmetics if you're in the UK. I just think this perfume is absolutely delicious, and this will last me. I could put this on in the morning before I go to work, and I wouldn't actually need to respray it until I leave work. But because I love it so much, I quite often will put it on again at lunchtime, just because in the same way with Boum, I just really want it. I want it to be strong. I want to smell it really obviously. But once I've sprayed this on in the morning and before I leave work, I can smell it on the tube through my face mask. And actually, I was wearing Cerruti, I think, the other day when I was on the tube, and someone sat down to me who I swear was wearing this, and I was so excited. I nearly asked her, but I live in the UK. We don't really talk to each other on the tube, you know. It's very different to America. Like, the thought of telling someone I like their perfume, I'd really have to think about it beforehand, because they might think I was a weirdo. But anyway. The tea note in this, I think, is subtle, but I think it's blended really nicely in a way that just makes this absolutely delicious, and it does give it a lovely aromatic kind of comforting smell. That's what I'd say. I find this a very comforting smell, and I also find it quite sexy and yummy. But it's a bit coconutty. It's a bit like coconut tea. So I'm going to put that one over there. Next on the list. Okay, let's go for this guy. Alyssa Ashley Green Tea Essence. Now, the Fragrantica notes on this would have you believe that there isn't tea in it, but I'm pretty sure there is tea in it. I mean, firstly, it's called Green Tea Essence, right? There's definitely an aromatic kind of tea smell going in here, but it is way more citrusy than Elizabeth Arden Green Tea. So I'll just read you the notes. It hasn't got base and middle, it's just got a list of notes. So the notes in this one are bergamot, Sicilian lemon, iris, nutmeg, jasmine, lavender, freesia, melon, rose and violet. So the Sicilian lemon and the violet and the lavender are kind of giving it a kind of slightly zingy, fresh, sort of more nose tingly, I think, slightly more nose tingly. But I mean, the spray is the one that's easier to get, which is why I've got the spray on here. I like the oil of this best. So if you can get hold of the oil, that's my favourite. It's a bit sweeter. It's a little bit less sharp. But this is still quite sweet because I really smell the melon in this one. I think this is like a herbally aromatic melon scent with a good old bunch of citrusiness thrown in. But melon really sings in this one for me. And I think it's very fresh. It's really nice for summer. Yeah, I definitely prefer the oil. There's no denying that the oil is the best. I really use this for layering with the oil. But the oil is a little bit more difficult to find, so I wanted to. But again, this is about £4 or £5 for 50ml. It's an absolute bargain, as most Alyssa Ashley perfumes are. But another thing to mention about this is that I swear it smells a bit like thyme, the herb thyme. So it's not listed in the same way that green tea isn't listed, but I would say there's something about this that has a slight thyme vibe to it, but it is still quite sweet. Don't get the impression that this one's like super sharp. It's not super sharp. The melon is giving it such a beautiful sweetness. It's slightly fresh and watery, but in a lovely, I mean, it's so perfect for summer. I mean, the reason I wanted to do this tea video now is because, you know, summer is here. It's, well, nearly here. And all of these perfumes are brilliant for summer. They're all excellent. So yeah, I think that one's a really good, this is a really good bargain. And I like it a lot, and I wear it with the oil quite a lot. I really love that oil. I've got loads of backup bottles of it. So next we have, oh, look at this little beauty. What a little cutie pie. So Elizabeth Arden white tea. This is the ginger lily version because this is my favourite one. I say that I haven't smelt all of the flankers because I'm not really interested in the rose one or the vanilla-y one, I think the mandarin-y one, you know, whatever. But I really wanted to smell the ginger lily one. I have spoken before because I still have actually the original white tea. But I find that one a little bit unisex, so like it's really difficult for me to know when I'm happy to wear it, because I definitely get a bit of a unisex vibe from that. I think it's a little bit too woody for my liking. So although I really like it, it's a perfect spa scent. Oh my god, it's just great for that. And I'm going to do a spa scent kind of perfume, and it'll definitely be in there. But this one dries down sweeter, even though it's got that kind of tangy, like, what's the word for it? Very spicy, kind of hot vibe from the ginger. It's also much sweeter. So the notes in this one, top notes are bitter orange, bergamot, neroli, and mandarin orange. Middle notes ginger, white ginger lily, and violet. Base notes musk, cedar, mate, and tonka bean. So it does have a really nice, slightly sweet dry down, and it's just yummy. Let me have a quick smell. So, out of all of these, this is the crispest, if that makes sense. This is the one that's the most like a white t-shirt kind of scent, like a crisp, freshly ironed, as if I have an iron, come on. I never iron anything. I'm all right. I crease it anyway. But so white tea is the kind of, if I'm wearing a white shirt and I want to be a bit of a boss lady, this is a really good perfume for that. And because it's slightly sweeter and not as woody as the original white tea, this is my absolute favourite. So I probably will pass on the original white tea and just stick to the ginger lily one, because I think whenever I've tried to wear the other white tea since I got this little baby, I've just thought, well, I should have put on the ginger one. So they're slightly more expensive. Well, yeah, I reckon they're quite a fair bit more expensive than the green tea from Elizabeth Arden, but they're in much nicer bottles, and I think that's probably partly why they are a bit of a classier perfume. They maybe smell a little bit more natural. Although, you know, these aren't massively synthetic smelling. You can tell they're not like the most expensive of perfumes when you spray them or for them on card. But on skin, they smell incredible. And this is, this is a really safe bet. It's a really yummy one. So I'm just going to start making space for everything. So next up, I mean, what a stunning perfume this one is. An absolute classic perfume. Absolutely delicious. I can't believe I slept on it for so long. Still by Jennifer Lopez is just... It's one of the most tea-forward perfumes I've ever smelled. Obviously, green tea has that aromatic vibe that is just absolutely scrumptious. Still, because of it's an Earl Grey tea, it smells like tea. It really smells like actual tea. But it smells like jasmine tea. So there's lots of other notes going on in this. I'll read them to you now. So top notes, Earl Grey tea, white pepper, mandarin orange, apple and rice. Middle notes, jasmine, lily of the valley, freesia, honeysuckle, orange blossom and rose. Base notes, pepper, musk, sandalwood, iris and amber. And all of that, I'm sure, is blended so beautifully that it creates this perfume. However, this perfume to me just smells like jasmine tea. Oh, it is absolutely glorious. It definitely, I mean, obviously, it has some, when it first starts, it's a bit more fruity, but the underlying vibe of jasmine tea is there the whole time. It is a very, very beautiful scent. Very beautiful indeed. And I honestly... I kind of want to wear this one all the time at the moment, especially because the weather's getting hot. So I'm still spreading things out. I'm still trying to not wear the same perfume all the time because I have so many. And I do tend to do it according to what I'm wearing as well. But I can't think of a situation where this perfume wouldn't work. It is a bit sweet. It's not at all sharp. Unlike all the other Jennifer Lopez perfumes I've smelled, it's not at all sharp. I think I got this massive bottle for like 15 quid. It's 100ml. And it's already backup bottle worthy. I already absolutely am obsessed with it. I love it. And this one, I mean, the longevity is not too bad. But again, it's another one of those I love so much. I do kind of want to respray it quite regularly. So again, probably put it on before I go to work, spray it on again at lunchtime, make sure I pop it on again before I leave. And not because that smell has completely gone away. I just want it to be strong because I love it. I absolutely love it. And for me, I, I only really keep respraying perfumes when they're quite subtle, more sort of skin scenty type perfumes. So it's not like I'm overspraying like, you know, a really, really strong perfume that's going to bother everyone. But oh, this is just, this is so beautiful. I feel like everyone should have this. If you like tea perfumes like me, then don't be as stupid as me and leave this for ages to try it just because you're a bit fussy about jasmine. Because jasmine tea is a whole different kettle of fish. And if you like jasmine tea, you know exactly what that smell is. It's the most beautiful, fragrant, aromatic, warming, heavenly floral smell. It's so perfect. I love jasmine tea to drink and I love the smell of it, and every time I have a cup I'm just thinking, this is literally that come to life in a perfume, but it's slightly sweetened. It's just glorious. I'm obsessed and I love it. So last one. This is a beautiful tiny little bottle. It's actually 50ml, but for some reason they just look so cute. They look tiny. This is 4711, those famous for their very citrusy unisex cologne. This is also unisex. All of these Aqua Colonias are unisex. This one definitely leans more feminine though. So this is Matcha and Frangipani. I'm not sure if my camera can actually focus on it, but anyway, Matcha and Frangipani. Now, I have a few of these and I will actually make an Aqua Colonia video because I've got some little baby ones as well. But this perfume is so delicious. I'll read you that. Well, I don't even need to read you the notes actually, because the notes listed for this are matcha powder and frangipani. And yes, there's definitely a bit of a citrusy vibe though when you first spray it. So when I first sprayed this, it really reminded me very strongly of the Guerlain Aqua Allegoria Herba Fresca, which also is a tea perfume, a very citrusy, fresh, watery, cologne-like tea perfume. And I love Herba Fresca, but they are really expensive nowadays. Like Guerlain has just become very pricey. Especially the Aqua Allegoria ones used to be some of their cheaper perfumes, but they're not cheap anymore. So I was very happy to see that 4711 have got a big range of these Aqua Colonia, and I've got quite a few of them, so I will talk about them in their own little video. But for this one, for tea, Matcha and Frangipani, oh my goodness, what a combination. This actually is worth buying a big bottle for, to be honest, and at some point I probably will have to get one of the massive like bottles of this. I think I don't even think they're 100ml. I think it might be 170ml, so the price jumps up. But I got this from a place called Health Farm, spelt with a PH, like health pharmacy.co.uk, who seem very reliable. I've got quite a few things from there, so I recommend looking for it. They've got the best prices on these Aqua Colonias right now, and I think it was about £13, £14, so under 15. Absolute bargain. I think I got all of these for under 20 actually. So this is, oh, let me just have a sniff. Oh, it's so fresh and heavenly. It's a perfect smell for summer. But out of all of the Aqua Colonias, it's one of the longest lasting, I think. And it's also one of the stronger ones. It's still not massively strong. It's definitely designed as a summer pick-me-up. It's designed for very hot weather, when you don't want to wear something that's totally crazy and is going to make you feel a bit queasy. But you first spray it, it has that herbal citrusiness. You definitely get the matcha. And the frangipani makes it then dry down into a beautiful, sweet and creamy kind of powdery, actually. It is slightly powdery when it dries down. It's magical, this perfume. I don't know, it's kind of really unexpected. It just has such a fabulous smell. Oh, it's just delicious. And this is definitely one where I keep reapplying it because I want to, because I love it. And you can massively overspray these, and they're not very expensive, so that's fair enough. But I mean, instantly feel cooling, instantly feel fresh. I'm wearing one of the other ones today actually, which I will talk about in a different video. But they've also got I think it's bergamot and green tea, which I'm hoping to get my hands on at some point. but I'm assuming that that one is going to be a little bit more of a straightforward kind of green tea style perfume, whereas I haven't, this is the only perfume I've got with matcha in it, and I think the other perfumes I've seen that are matcha, have a matcha note, are very expensive. This one, it has the creaminess that you get from making a cup of matcha tea, and I don't mean like a matcha latte or like a matcha chai or any of that stuff. I mean proper, you know, ceremonial grade matcha powder, boiling, well, not boiling, 80 degrees is what you have to do matcha at. You know, hot water where it gets like a creaminess even though it's been made with water. That is what this is. And then the frangipani makes it sweet, not ridiculously sweet, but definitely a bit sweet, and also dries it down into something a bit more floral and powdery, but you still have that matcha powdery, herbally kind of aromatic thing going on. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't say there's any citrus in it, but I think it's definitely a little bit citrusy. Dare I say mint? It's not really minty, but there's definitely a sort of fresh citrusy herbal herba fresca style smell when you first spray this, and then it dries down into something different. But if you like herba fresca, then I think this would be a really good try. I think this might be a bargain. These are all bargains actually. There's only one that I've smelt that I feel is a little bit too masculine for me. All the ones that I've got really are quite feminine. The ones that I have these big bottles of anyway, and they're just lovely. They're just really nice. So I hope more people can discover this, because this is high heat perfume heaven, really is. So yeah, so those are all of my tea perfumes, or my perfumes that have a tea note. So I think altogether the most expensive one here was probably Still. So I think Still was maybe 15. This was 13. I think this one was about 13. This was about £4. This was about £4. That one, Boum, was about a tenner, and the two green teams was about a tenner. So absolute bargains, really, really nice ones. I hope that there are some here that some of you guys like. If you've got any good suggestions for inexpensive tea perfumes that you think I might like, then hit me up in the comments.